Do you know the tale of Hanuman's incredible journey to save Lakshmana, where he faced an impossible task and lifted an entire mountain to bring back a life-saving herb? It was during the fierce battle in Lanka that Lakshmana, the beloved brother of Lord Rama, was struck down by an arrow from the formidable Ravana's army. As Lakshmana lay dying, his breath growing shallow, the hope of victory in the war against evil seemed to fade. The only thing that could save him was the rare Sanjeevani herb, a magical plant that could restore life, but it grew far away, atop a distant mountain. Time was slipping away, and the burden of this task fell upon none other than Hanuman, the mighty devotee of Lord Rama. Would he make it in time? Stay with me to discover this legendary tale of strength, devotion, and quick thinking. Hanuman, only the Sanjeevani can save him. Sashina's voice was grave as Rama knelt by his fallen brother, Lakshmana. The stillness of Lakshmana's form gripped Hanuman's heart like a vice. His breath faltered for just a moment, but his resolve hardened instantly. "Fear not, my lord," Hanuman said, his deep voice unwavering. "I shall fetch the herb and save Lakshmana, even if it means flying to the ends of the earth." His eyes met Rama's, a silent promise exchanged. Without another word, Hanuman sprang into the sky, his enormous frame parting the heavens as he soared. The wind howled around him, but he cut through it with ease, his focus sharp, unbroken. Below him, the vast oceans glittered in the moonlight, and towering forests stretched endlessly, but Hanuman's mind saw only Lakshmana, fading with each passing moment. "I must be swift," he whispered to himself, his heart racing, as the weight of time bore down on him like 1,000 mountains. The path ahead was fraught with uncertainty, but there was no room for doubt. The herb was out there, somewhere on the distant mountain, and he would not rest until he held it in his grasp. Hanuman's journey took him to Mount Dronagiri, where the legendary Sanjeevani herb was said to dwell among countless other plants. As his mighty form descended upon the towering peak, the air around him was alive with the scent of earth and greenery. Every leaf seemed to whisper, but which among them held the power to save Lakshmana? Hanuman's sharp eyes scanned the vibrant foliage, yet the herb eluded him. His chest tightened with urgency, the weight of his mission pressing heavily upon him. "I cannot fail Rama," he murmured, his voice barely more than a breath carried on the wind, the burning flame of loyalty glowing fiercely within him. Desperation lingered like a shadow behind him, but Hanuman's heart was unwavering. Time slipped away like sand through his fingers, and Lakshmana's life hung in the balance. "What good are my eyes if they cannot find the one thing I seek?" he thought, clenching his fists. Then, in a moment of clarity, his decision was made. "If I cannot find the herb, I shall bring the entire mountain." With a thunderous roar that echoed through the heavens, Hanuman's form expanded, towering above the earth. His immense hands, now like the roots of ancient trees, dug deep into the ground, gripping the very base of the mountain. The earth quaked as Hanuman dug his mighty hands into the soil, ripping the colossal mountain free from its roots. Birds took flight in a flurry of panic, their cries lost in the rumbling chaos, while ancient trees bent and swayed as though bowing to his power. His muscles rippled beneath his skin, unyielding, as he whispered softly to himself, "Rama awaits my return." His heart beat in time with the urgency of his task, each thud echoing the fragile breaths of Lakshmana, who lay on the battlefield, his life hanging by a thread. With the mountain cradled in his vast arms, Hanuman leapt into the heavens, the weight seemingly nothing to him. Below, the creatures of the earth gazed upward in awe, watching the magnificent sight of the great Hanuman soaring across the skies. His form, silhouetted against the starlit night, moved like a dark comet, swift and unwavering. The wind howled around him, tugging at his fur and whipping through the air, yet it could not hinder him, his resolve was too strong. His eyes, glowing with determination, reflected the stars above, and nothing, not even the vastness of the world, could slow his flight. For in his heart, he carried the weight of more than a mountain, he carried the hope of saving Lakshmana. Back in Lanka, the battlefield was thick with tension, the air charged with uncertainty and dread. Rama knelt beside his brother Lakshmana, whose lifeless form lay motionless upon the ground, and a mixture of worry and hope swirled in his heart. "He will return, my lord," Vibhishana spoke, his voice quaking yet resolute, striving to uplift the heavy despair that surrounded them. The moment hung like a fragile thread, and the sun's light seemed to dim in anticipation of Hanuman's arrival. Suddenly, the heavens darkened as a colossal figure broke the horizon. Hanuman emerged, bearing the entire mountain in his mighty grip. "He comes," cried the warriors, their voices resonating with awe, eyes wide with wonder as they beheld the miraculous sight. The ground trembled beneath Hanuman's feet, his descent powerful and commanding, shaking the very earth as he landed. With great care, he placed the mountain before Sashina, the healer, who awaited with bated breath. "Find the Sanjeevani," Hanuman commanded, his voice steady despite the weight of his burden. His breath came heavy, yet the fire of his spirit burned bright within. Time was slipping through their fingers like sand, and every second counted in the quest to save Lakshmana. The warriors stood frozen in admiration, their hearts swelling with hope at the sight of their indomitable hero. Would Hanuman's resolve be enough to change the tide of fate? Sashina moved with urgency, his eyes darting over the vast expanse of the mountain, searching for the fabled Sanjeevani herb. The air was thick with anticipation, and the quiet was broken only by the rapid beating of hearts, each thump echoing the desperation of those who stood by. Hanuman's powerful form loomed near, his brow furrowed in concentration, while the other warriors held their breath, knowing that time was slipping away. Suddenly, Sashina's gaze brightened, catching sight of a soft, luminous glow nestled within the dense foliage. "Behold," he exclaimed, his voice cutting through the silence. With swift hands, he gathered the precious herb, preparing it with practiced skill. As he worked, the world around them seemed to fade, the urgency of the moment enveloping them all. "Hurry, Sashina," Hanuman urged, his voice a blend of hope and anxiety. With the Sanjeevani ready, Sashina turned to Lakshmana, who lay pale and still. "Live, Lakshmana," Rama whispered, gripping his brother's hand tightly, his heart aching with fear. Time stretched, each moment feeling like an eternity, until at last, a tremor stirred within Lakshmana's chest. A soft breath escaped his lips, and his eyes fluttered open. "Rama," he murmured, his voice barely a whisper. Tears of joy brimmed in Rama's eyes as he pulled his brother into a tender embrace, relief flooding through him like a warm tide. "You are with us again, dear brother," Rama whispered, his heart lifting as hope blossomed anew. The weight of despair dissolved, replaced by the unbreakable bond of brotherhood, shining brighter than ever amidst the trials they had faced. As the news of Lakshmana's revival spread across the battlefield, a roar of jubilation erupted from Rama's valiant warriors. Their voices rose like the thunder of a great storm, echoing through the valleys and filling the air with triumphant joy. Yet amid the celebration, Hanuman, ever humble and steadfast, knelt before Rama, his heart swelling with reverence.
"I am grateful to have served you, my lord,"
he murmured, his voice barely rising above the clamor, his head bowed in sincerity. Rama, radiant with relief and gratitude, placed a gentle hand upon Hanuman's shoulder. The warmth of his touch resonated deeply.
"You are more than a servant, Hanuman.
He spoke, his voice thick with emotion.
You are my truest friend and the greatest of all warriors. Your strength and loyalty are unmatched."
Hanuman met Rama's gaze, his eyes reflecting the depth of their bond, forged in trials and triumphs. Around them, the warriors cheered, their faces alight with victory, but it was the unyielding connection between Rama and Hanuman that shone brightest.
"Together we shall overcome all."
Hanuman bowed, his spirit ignited by Rama's words. In that moment, the essence of their devotion solidified, a bond unbreakable, woven through shared struggles and unwavering faith. The tale of Hanuman's journey to fetch the Sanjeevani herb speaks of devotion, courage, and unwavering resolve. His strength was not only in his powerful limbs but in the depths of his heart, guided by an unshakable love and loyalty to Lord Rama. As the battlefield lay heavy with despair, and Lakshmana's life hung by a thread, Hanuman's quick thinking saved the day. When faced with the overwhelming task of finding the herb among 1,000 others, he did not falter.
"If I cannot find the cure, I shall bring the mountain itself,"
He resolved, his voice a whisper in the wind. The earth trembled as Hanuman, immense in size, tore the mountain from its roots. The weight of the world rested in his hands, yet his spirit soared high above it. He flew across the skies, the wind rushing past him, his eyes set on the task at hand. His determination was born not of duty alone, but of love, a love so fierce that it moved mountains, literally. And when he laid the mountain at the healer's feet, hope bloomed once again. Hanuman's heroism is a reminder that true strength lies not in muscle alone, but in the steadfast will to protect those we hold dear. His legendary act, born of selflessness, shines through the ages as a beacon of courage, teaching us that no challenge is insurmountable when driven by devotion.